I just found out my husband showed his coworkers and his friends naughty pictures of me. Should I leave him? My husband and I have only been married a few months. Before that, we dated for 2 years. My husband works in a really remote area, so he's not with me most of the time. After we got married, we bought a house near my parents' house since he would be away for most of the time, and that way I could spend time with my family. There are a few things about my husband that really bother me, but for the most part, he is pretty good. He supports me financially while I'm in school to pursue my career. I just got an internship for a magazine, which has been my dream job. My husband and I started dating. Everything went really fast. He's really passionate. After a year of dating, he proposed, and of course I said yes. We have a great love life. I mean, great. We have a lot of chemistry together, and we're super attracted to each other. And one thing about my husband is he loves to show me off. He's like the opposite of a jealous husband. He loves when I wear cute revealing clothes, which is not a bad thing, by the way. And whenever somebody hits on me, he loves it. He's proud to be my husband, and I'm proud to be his wife. But sometimes I feel like he's showing me off a little bit too much. Since he's away for work, he always asks me to send him, naughty pictures. Come to find out, he shows his coworkers. Here's how I found out he did it. Every single day, multiple times a day, he would ask me to send him naughty pictures. It actually became like a routine for me. I would even order cute lingerie on a weekly basis for this. One day, my husband sent me a message that was clearly for one of his friends. In the message, he said, "Check out this picture my wife just sent me." And then he proceeded to attach the picture I had just sent him. For the first 5 seconds, I thought he was joking. You see, I would never have expected him to do that. But after about 30 seconds, I came to. Realized he had sent it to me by mistake. I called him and he instantly turned off his phone. I called him about 10 more times, but it all went to voicemail. Finally, 3 hours later, he sends me a text message apologizing. He said that he had never showed his friends the pictures and that he promises to never do it again. And that this time the picture was too good to not share. And it gets worse. He told me his coworkers are always drooling over my Instagram pictures, so he just felt like sharing. He sent a whole other message talking about how sexy and beautiful I am. And guess what? He asked for another freaking picture. After he apologized, he basically asked me for more pictures. So I decided to ghost him for a week. After a week, he shows up to our house. When I opened the door, he started begging for forgiveness. He told me that he couldn't live without me, that he thought I was so beautiful he just wanted to share my pictures. I explained to him that what he did was a total violation of my trust and of my body. Thought of his coworkers and friends being able to see those pictures literally nauseated me. And of course, I was totally ashamed that my family and friends would find out. I mean, what if one of his friends told his wife and then she told me something? He told me he'd never do it again, and I accepted his apology. After that, we did the dirty and it was amazing. He had to go to work the very next day. And a few days later, he started asking me for more pictures. I have to trust the fact that he said he would never show those pictures to anybody again. So I started sending him pictures again. Only now it just doesn't feel the same. Before it was fun and I wanted to send him the pictures. Now I do it praying that he won't show it to anybody else. I've also come to realize that my husband knows how to manipulate me really well. Our sexy times are so good that he just gets me to do whatever he wants. Like taking those pictures. I really don't know if I should trust him, but at the same time, he's my husband. I feel like you guys will have good advice. What should I do?
I grew up as a fat kid, but when I got to college, I began taking control of my health and I lost 150 pounds. I had a personal trainer who is now my husband. He was a huge health nut to begin with and really kept me on track and held me accountable. I've been able to keep the weight off for 20 years and we're both giant health nuts. We have 3 kids. Our daughters are 12, 14, and 9. We've always been strict about health with them. They each have a workout machine in their room which they have to use for an hour before dinner, and if we walk in and they aren't on their machines, they get their phones and toys taken away. My 2 oldest girls have rebelled against this a lot. We've also been really strict with nutrition. We never had anything but fruits, veggies, and lean meats in our home, not even bread. At birthday parties, we took them home as soon as the cake and pizza came out, never took them trick-or-treating for Halloween, and had teachers send them to different rooms when they had class parties with food. We also told their friends' parents not to feed them junk. I'll admit, we definitely sheltered them from junk food in fear that they grow up unhealthy. People thought we were ridiculous for the way we raised our kids, and we were warned about them having eating disorders, but we thought we were doing what was best, and everyone was being ridiculous. 3 months ago, we found out our oldest daughters, who go to the same middle school, were sneaking food at vending machines from school with their allowance cash. My husband found out about this from hearing the snacks in their backpacks and had a long talk with them about the dangers of eating those snacks, and took the snacks and their money. I heard him talking to them and he was gentle and calm about it, but both girls ended up in tears. Recently, we got a call from our 12-year-old daughter's school counselor. Apparently, she's been chewing up her food and then spitting it out and making herself throw up in the bathroom when she ate lunch. They also talked to me about my 14-year-old who said that lately she's been skipping breakfast and lunch a few times a week for the past couple years because she was scared we would be mad at her when she ate. The counselor was not happy with me and recommended a treatment place for eating disorders. I feel like absolute shit. Like we've caused our daughters to have eating disorders and have to look out for signs for our 9-year-old. I called my mom for help and instead she berated me and called me a piece of shit mom, which was the last thing that I needed to hear. My parents are taking my girls for a couple days while I get everything together and set things up with the eating disorder treatment place for when they come back. I don't know what to do. I feel proud that I didn't raise my kids with junk food addiction and I put their health before their tears about not eating pizza, but now it's come at a price. I've been inconsolable and my husband and I aren't talking right now as we don't know what to do.
Am I wrong for calling my sister's husband useless? My 17 female, sister 34 female called me saying that her work had an emergency and she needed to get there ASAP and needed me to watch her kids because no one else can. I rushed over there just to find her husband locked in his game room playing video games. I asked her why she called me over if he was home, and she said he didn't want to babysit because it was his only day off. Sister left and I started hanging with the kids. I was changing the baby's diaper and the other kids wanted a snack. I told them to ask their dad to make it for them because the baby had a blowout and it was going to take me a while to clean him up. Well, their dad sent them back upstairs and told them to ask me again. After cleaning the baby up, I made the kids a snack and their dad came out to eat and told me not to let the kids interrupt him on his day off. By the way, he works part-time from home 6 days a week. I kind of snapped at him and told him it was my day off too and that he's a useless fucking father and husband if his wife has to rely on her teenage sister rather than her own husband. He started telling me I was disrespectful and didn't understand how hard parenting is. And I told him he clearly doesn't understand how hard it is either since he considers parenting his own children babysitting. He ended up kicking me out and apparently my sister was forced to come home because he told her she needed to figure it out since I'm her sister. I feel like I may have been the asshole because my sister is mad at me, her husband is mad at me, my mom is mad at me for causing drama, but my dad thinks it's funny and agrees with me. I definitely didn't need to call him names, but I just hate this guy so much. We have argued about things in the past as well, so we already don't have a great relationship. My sister is saying I need to apologize to him and he is threatening to never let me in the kids' lives if I keep disrespecting him. So, am I the asshole here? For everyone that has asked, no, he does not take care of the kids normally. My sister takes them to daycare during the day and then picks them up on her way home. She is the breadwinner and primary caretaker. Also, I got a few questions of, does she pay you? Not exactly, but she will randomly take me on expensive shopping sprees and will regularly buy things from my Amazon wishlist instead.
My wife is a cancer patient. She unfortunately started losing her hair due to chemotherapy and she's been incredibly insecure about it, her lack of hair in particular. She got a wig and started wearing it. I don't mind it. I 100% support her since she only wears it around family and friends. Now my sister lost her apartment after a messy divorce and moved in with her twin daughter, 16, almost a month ago. Things have been going well except for my niece's constant remarks about my wife's wig. They got so hung up on it and kept asking lots of questions about it. They asked to take turns trying it on, suggested that they straighten it with their straightener and so on, which was exhausting. They even pressured to see her without it, but my wife was uncomfortable and refused. Yesterday, I got home and found that my wife is locking herself in the bedroom and crying. I asked her what happened. She told me that she woke up and didn't find her wig, and then discovered that my nieces took it and hid it and urged her to come out so that they could see her without it. My wife repeatedly asked them to give it back, but they started laughing and recording. My wife had to lock the door to keep the distance because they didn't stop. I was fuming and went to the kitchen and confronted them. They acted confused, but I was able to get the wig back. I lashed out, telling them that they humiliated my wife and embarrassed her by taking her wig. They said it was just a lighthearted prank, which made me go off on them. My sister got involved and said that my wife is just being sensitive and the girls were just curious to see her without her wig, but she overreacted. I told her that her daughters were recording her. She saw nothing wrong in it and said that I overreacted as well. I lost it on her too and told her that she and my nieces are no longer welcome to stay at my home and they needed to leave. I later let them know about the eviction since they thought I wasn't being serious, but they started crying and begging that I let it go. However, my wife is no longer comfortable around them after what they did. My sister called our elderly dad and he begged that I let him stay and insisted my nieces were just acting like typical teenagers. He offered to speak to my wife, but I declined. They've been begging that I change my mind, but I kept refusing. Am I the asshole for evicting my sister and her daughters after they hid my wife's wig and embarrassed her?
I'm Selena. One day my mom said to me, "Honey, there's something I need to talk to you about. Your dad and I have made a decision. We've been wasting away at our boring job for years, so from now on, we only want to do fun things. We're going to work for ourselves, but also have fun." This was a great idea. Of course I supported them, but unfortunately it didn't go the way they planned. They failed at everything they tried to do. For example, for a while they worked as clowns at kids' birthdays. Normally they're both really fun people, but according to my mom, no matter how hard they tried, they just couldn't make those children laugh. When they got a bad rap among mothers, they had to give up that gig. Another fun job they tried their hand in was doing magic tricks at schools. My dad learned a few magic tricks and prepared a little show. My mom was his assistant on stage. But my dad was so bad at doing the tricks, the kids booed him throughout the entire show. So that gig also failed. One morning, I woke up to my mom screaming. I ran to my parents' bedroom in a panic. My dad was holding a razor blade and laughing hysterically. My mom was staring at my dad about to burst into tears. I realized that she was missing an eyebrow. Apparently, he had shaved off one of her eyebrows while she was asleep. "Mom, Dad, what's going on? Are you insane? What is this?" I yelled. Still laughing, my dad pointed to the camera. I realized that he had been filming everything. That morning, I found out about my parents' new profession, being YouTubers. They started a YouTube channel called Prankster Husband. The idea was for my dad to pull pranks on my mom. His first prank was shaving off one of her eyebrows. It took 2.5 months for her eyebrow to grow back. My parents' first prank video had 220,000 views. Finally, they found their dream job. Thanks to YouTube, they were both having fun and making money. I became accustomed to hearing my mother screaming every day. In one of the pranks, my dad sneaked up on my mom while she was doing her makeup. Then, out of nowhere, he took out 2 fresh eggs and cracked them on her head. My mom's shriek shook the whole house. There was egg yolk all over her hair and clothes. When she realized it was a prank, "Look what you did! I just showered," she grumbled. My dad, on the other hand, laughed until his belly hurt. He was now spending all of his day preparing pranks. The pranks weren't fake. My mom was genuinely reacting to them because she didn't know what was coming, and the viewers loved it. They were very happy, but I couldn't say the same for myself. For me, life was unbearable. If I was with my mom while my dad was doing a prank, then I became the victim as well. I didn't mind a little prank once in a while, but my dad was usually carrying things too far. In our house, my dad usually prepares breakfast and my mom does dinner. One morning, my dad had made me eggs with sausage. My mom wasn't in the kitchen yet. I sat down at the table and cut a piece of the sausage on my plate and started chewing. Words cannot express the pain I felt at that moment. The sausage was so hot, it was as if smoke was coming out of my ears. I started screaming in panic. I was putting whatever I could find into my mouth to stop the burn, but nothing helped. My face was red as a lobster. I was running around the kitchen. My dad started laughing out loud. "Oh, Selena, I'm so sorry. I had prepared that sausage for your mom, but gave it to you by mistake," he said. Then he took out the milk from the fridge and gave it to me. Thankfully, drinking milk helped the burn. Apparently, my dad put the world's hottest pepper inside that sausage for his new prank. Yep, you heard that right. The world's hottest pepper. I was naturally very angry with my dad. But when he said this was an accident and apologized many times, I let it go. Still, I wanted to politely warn my parents. "I get it. You found your dream job. You're having a lot of fun, but please, don't include me in your pranks," I said. That day, they both promised me. I believed them because they looked really genuine, but I would soon find out that it was a mistake. My parents' YouTube channel had reached 200,000 subscribers. That meant they were making enough money to pay for rent and bills. But they had an important issue. Innocent pranks like cracking eggs on a victim's head got less views. The viewers wanted my dad to do mean pranks like putting the world's hottest pepper into the sausage. The more the victim, that's my mom, suffered, the more fun the viewers had. My dad obeyed their demands and increased the meanness level on every prank from there on. One day, we went to visit my grandmother. On the way back, my mom was at the wheel. I was in the back seat. I was telling them about something that happened to me at school. Then, my dad took out a paper bag. Then he started shaking it before he released what was inside. 12 wasps. Suddenly, the wasps took over the whole car. My mom and I began to panic. We were screaming and yelling. My dad was filming us while belting out big laughs. My mom was trying to shoo away the wasps with one hand and hold onto the wheel with the other. Something bad was bound to happen. She lost control of the car and went off the road. My dad was still thinking about the video he was shooting. He was saying, "This is the best prank I've pulled so far." Suddenly, we hit a tree. Then everything went dark. I was hearing voices from afar, but I couldn't make out what they were talking about. It was as if I was down in the bottom of the ocean. The voices started coming closer. After a while, I could hear better. It was my dad's voice. "Our daughter will be fine, honey. Please don't worry. Didn't you hear what the doctor said? She might come to at any moment." I tried to open my eyes, but I couldn't. I tried to speak, but I couldn't do that either. At that moment, I realized I was in a coma. I couldn't react at all. I could only hear them. My dad started talking again. "Wow, our wasp prank video has over 1.5 million views. I knew it was going to get attention, but I didn't think it was going to be this popular." My mom said, "Honey, okay, the video got so many views, but don't you see what's going on with our daughter? I can't be happy about views when she's in this condition." My dad replied, "Don't worry, love. I'm sure Selena will be okay in less than an hour. At first, she'll be mad with us, but she'll understand when she sees how many views the video's getting. Plus, this wasn't intentional. It was an accident." Then he said, "Do you mind getting us something to drink from the hospital cafeteria? I wouldn't say no to some coffee right now." I heard footsteps and understood that my mom had left the room. Then my dad started pushing my bed. What was happening? Where was he taking me? I was spiraling down, lost in these thoughts. The voices were going away. It was as if I was going back into the depths of the ocean. After a while, I completely lost consciousness. When I came to, my mom was crying and my dad was laughing. My dad said, "How could you even believe that? I didn't think I could fool you so easily." My mom said, giggling, "Well, when I came back, Selena wasn't here and I was so scared. When you said Selena isn't doing so well, she went into surgery, I almost fainted." My dad sounded so proud. "As soon as you left, I took Selena's bed into the empty room next door. I pushed the empty bed from that room to here. The only thing left to do was for me to look panicked." My mom took a deep breath. "I keep forgetting what a good actor you are. You got me again." "Did you get my full reaction? I'm sure this prank will also get 1,000,000 views," she continued. This time, I was able to open my eyes. I looked at my parents in disbelief. When my mom said, "Oh, honey, are you okay? Oh, thank God you scared us." I couldn't stop myself. "Mom, Dad, you should both be ashamed of yourselves. I heard everything. Dad, you're the one who put me in this condition. How can you keep doing pranks?" I yelled. I got even angrier when I saw the uncaring look in my dad's eyes. "Dad, have you lost your mind? You tell me that you love me all the time and I was in a coma because of you. And as if that weren't enough, you pulled another prank on my mom using me? Can't you see how awful this all is?" I said. "Selena, don't be dramatic. Have you lost your humor as a result of this accident? It was just a prank. You know me better than that," he replied angrily. My mom was on his side. "Honey, I think your dad is right. You know he's not only doing this for fun, it's also our job. This is how we're able to pay for this hospital bill. You should thank him." "I can't believe you!" I screamed. "Do you hear what you're saying? Leave, both of you. I'm disowning you." My dad laughed. "You're disowning us? Shoot, I wish I was filming this. I'm sure this would get the same number of views as our prank videos." He was still making fun of me. "I guess I'm not making myself clear. You're not my parents anymore. I've disowned you," I said, pointing to the door. "Will you please leave? I don't want to see you anymore." After they left, I called my grandma. When she arrived, I told her what happened. She couldn't believe the things my parents had done. "How can they put their only daughter's life in danger? I'm going to disown my son for doing this to you," she said. And she really meant it. She called my dad on his phone and disowned him. I was released from the hospital a few days later. Now I live with my grandma. I don't allow my parents to visit me. They keep calling and texting, but I don't answer. Even if they're saying they're sorry, I don't believe they mean it. Why? Because they're still uploading prank videos on their YouTube channel. They're blinded by their ambition for money and fame. That's why they can't see how hurtful they've become.